Sam Roberts and Dave Nugent are in the house.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Well, I'm not going to make the requisite joke about, hey, it must be pretty early for you, you know. But no, you're looking pretty spry. Did being on the road all the time? I mean, whenever duty calls, you got to be there, right?
Yeah, I think it got easier. We have kids now, you know. That kind of changed things around. I think schedule wise.
All right, how many is it now?
We have 5 between us.
So you better be working, boy.
I have 3 and Dave has 2.
Oh, wonderful. Good for you. So you started saving for university yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's never too soon, let me tell you.
Rock and roll is a very reliable line of work, you know.
That's right. Yeah.
You don't need to plan ahead, basically.
Yeah. You know, it was funny. A few weeks ago, we were celebrating the 10th anniversary of Sarstock at Downsview. And I remember seeing your performance there. Boy, you were lit for that one, eh? That must have been a huge stepping stone for your career.
You mean lit as in I'd had a few drinks early in the morning?
No, I'm just saying adrenaline
that would
can
be
do
true.
things.
I will admit that. That's true.
Yeah.
That was probably, I had my first drink at about 10:15 in the morning just to get ready.
Really? To calm your nerves?
Yeah, it was a daunting experience for a new band at the time. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we'd been touring, we'd been playing together for a long time, but certainly not in that type of environment with that, keeping that kind of company. I don't think we've kept that sort of company since.
Yeah,
you know, to be honest. So you never know when those kind of momentous occasions, those milestone moments are going to actually take place, and that still to this day resonates with us. You know, one of the scariest times we've ever had on stage, but also one of the best.
Yeah. So what was the process? I mean, did you how many days notice did you have? How did you get the phone call? I mean, did somebody call and what happened?
It all happened pretty quickly. I think they put that together in less than a month. And at first we thought, oh, it's just the Rolling Stones, and we're going to be on stage with the Rolling Stones. That alone would have been enough to keep me happy for the rest of my life. But then all these other names started being added to the list, and we of course started getting bumped further down until we were opening the show. You know?
Right, yeah, that's great.
So it was cool. But we went the day before. We did some sort of rehearsals and AC/DC sound checking, and then it was all over in 12 minutes. We had 15 minutes, but we played so fast that we were on, I think, for about 11.
Isn't that something? And you said it was a new band at the time. Is it pretty much intact from those days?
And we have a different drummer. He joined us about 8 years ago. But, again, we'd been playing in 150 seat venues prior to that, pretty much, and we'd had one tour with the Tragically Hip under our belts at that point. That was our first sort of exposure to big audiences and big venues. But then you just, it's a quantum leap to 500,000 people in a field.
So what did you take away from that experience? What did you learn? Was there any specific thing that you got out of it besides playing in front of 500,000 people?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, you're just reminded of the fact that no matter what you're doing up there on stage, you have to leave everything out there, and it doesn't matter the occasion, the show. And I think from that point, we realized that we can go up there, we can play for that many people, but you have to deliver the same show if you are playing for, we could be down in Kentucky somewhere playing for 150 people these days, and I think for some reason that show still comes to mind as a lesson learned that way. Just go and play like it's the end of the world all the time.
So let's fast forward 10 years and bring everything into context, because that was at a time when the musical landscape and the business model was just at the tipping point of a cataclysmic shift, and you've managed to navigate those waters pretty well.
Well, we're still here, and that's sometimes the only sort of yardstick that you have. And it's been a tumultuous time, but not an unhealthy time on all fronts. Lots of different sort of ways of getting music out there and sort of disseminating information are at our fingertips. We were talking about this last night, that if you have 20,000 Twitter followers, that's 20,000 people that you can hit with information sort of right off the bat. That didn't exist 10 years ago. So, of course, downloading's taken its toll, but I think we've been given a lot of other tools to work with as well. And like I said, we're still here. We make a living playing music. And
wonderful. So speaking of music, you've got a brand new record coming out in the first part of 2014. It's called Low Fantasy. And one thing I always get out of you is I recognize your new... it doesn't matter whether I've heard a song of yours I recognize your writing style within the first couple of bars, and of course your voice is so distinctive, and We're All in This Together is another testament to that.
Well, you don't even know that you have a voice sometimes until other people tell you that, oh, you sound like you. I think we're so used to it, sort of in our own way, sort of emulating our idols and our heroes musically, that when you realize that you've actually found your own voice, your own writing style, your own sort of songwriting approach, yeah, it's a good feeling, because I think you struggle a lot with that at the beginning, to find that uniqueness, that individuality. So if you say so, then I'll take your word for it. But that's